What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be doing a final review on the EG hatch. This is the one I put the B18C1 in, so taking it out for a spin today just to see how it feels now that I got the second gear fixed, and hopefully I can get it over to the new owner like this week. Today is actually Tuesday, so yeah, I think this week's pretty feasible. But I just figured I'd go along and do kind of a review on the overall build. First off, I can tell you the coilovers ride pretty good. They're MDU, master damper unit, and honestly, I don't know if they have dampening adjustment or not. But the suspension ride's really good. It's not rough, it's not bouncy. It feels good. The exhaust on this car was on this car when I got it, and it's a little more raspy than I really care for, but it works. So I'm just gonna take it for a cruise real quick, and maybe we can do a pull in it and see how she does. So we can do a little third gear pull and see what it does. Solid. These little curvy roads and stuff, man, it just don't care. Like, it just goes. That's the great thing about the Civics, man. They just handle so well. I love EG Civic, man. You know, I had the all-wheel drive car, and I plan to build another one in the future, but you know, I'm trying to get my business stuff going first, so plans are in the works, but second gear's fixed. Oh boy, this thing feels good. I mean, for being a stock swap, it feels pretty good. Okay, so I guess the verdict is in. The car is super awesome. It handles really well. It's got good power to be, you know, stock transmission, stock engine, you know, swap straight over out of just a 98 Integra, right? So overall, I think the car is excellent. It handles, like I said, it handles really well. Decent power. The only really thing that I'm not fond of is the exhaust. It's just, I'm getting older. Like I'm 35. You know, I'm not a little kid anymore, and you know, I'm not too crazy about the raspy exhaust. Some people like that kind of stuff. It's just not my personal touch. But to each his own. It's you know, it's something easy that can be changed, you know, in the future if the next owner decides to do so. But if any of you guys local in Alabama would like to be featured on the channel, just hit me up. You know, I'm open to doing some reviews on other cars and kind of getting more exposure for my Alabama guys, because I know there's some nice Hondas in Alabama, and a lot of them don't get the recognition they deserve. But yeah, second gear feels great. I think I definitely got that resolved, so no more second gear issues. So with this series on this car, I, you know, basically showed you how to reseal the whole GSR engine with the exception of a head gasket, and then I also showed you how to wire it into an EG. I showed you how to do the front suspension, the rear suspension, all that stuff. So you should be able to do the GSR swap into your EG Civic relatively easy. I try to break it down to where even the novice can understand it, you know what I mean? So hopefully you can and get your EG GSR swapped or B Series VTEC swap and get it on the road. Thanks for tuning in to this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. If this little video interests you, you can go ahead and check out the little series on this car. Thanks for tuning into this video, and hope to see you on another one. Peace. Right, so as far as the engine is concerned, we did use the 1998 Acura Integra GSR engine swap. Now this is still OBD2 engine, like all the sensors are OBD2, such as the distributor. You can see it's got the OBD2 connector here, it's got the OBD2 alternator, it's got the OBD2 injectors, and it still has the OBD2 engine harness. The OBD2 engine harness does plug straight into the Civic chassis, the EG Civic chassis. So there's a couple wires I had to add, like for the IAB and the VTEC and all that stuff. If you're interested in any of that, just look back on the series of the installation of this motor and I'll show you how I'd wired all that stuff in. One cool thing about all 92 Civics is they're all pre-wired for VTEC. So if regardless of which model 92 Civic you have, they're all wired. They're all wired for VTEC, regardless if the car has VTEC or not. Use the Integra radiator hoses. We use the Integra fuel line, the Integra throttle cable. And if you wanted to keep AC on your EG Civic, all you need to do is the bracket here that holds the compressor, use one from a CRV, all right, from a Honda CRV, like a 97 to 01, and you could put that bracket on your engine instead of the Integra bracket, and your D series, your original AC compressor, will bolt right up to it, no problem. So he just elected not to keep AC. This car didn't really have much of the AC stuff on it, so there's no big deal there. And we did reuse all the Integra mounts. So this is an Integra mount, as well as this one over here. Now, also, if your car is already manual, you can reuse this mount. And if your car already has a 3-bolt post mount, a 3-bolt right here, you can reuse this mount from your D series. They're all the same. Now, if you have a 2-bolt, it'll be a little different. If you know, instead of having a 3-bolt, it'll be a 2-bolt here, and they're not interchangeable. So you'll have to make accommodations for that. And we reuse the factory actual mount on the subframe, and then the T-bracket is from the Integra. So it has to be an Integra T-bracket, but most of all this stuff came straight out of the Integra and straight into this car, no problem. Okay, so on the bottom, we use the Integra axles. I actually wound up using the Integra spindles. That's not required, but the Integra spindle did have a bigger braking system than the CX and Civic that we're working with here. So that's why I went ahead and swapped the Integra spindles, just simply because of the larger brakes. If you just wanted to use the stock Integra axles into your stock EG spindle, you're good to go, it'll work. We use the Integra shift linkage, right? And then also up here, if you wanted to add the front Integra sway bar, you can, it does fit. All you have to do is use the Integra lower control arms, because they have the revision to mount the sway bar in here, and then it would bolt on right here to here and here is where it bolts on, and then it just kind of goes, I think it goes over all the shift linkage and stuff. I don't really remember right off the top of my head, but I know it bolts on here with a 12mm nut and a 12mm bolt. And then, you know, like I said, it just connects to a lower control arm. You do have to use the Integra lower control arms. And then on the rear, we installed the Integra rear brakes. Now again, you don't have to do this when doing the swap, but I'm just showing you everything that does swap over. So we did go ahead and put the Integra rear sway bar on here. You can see it here, and it clears everything. We used the Integra lower control arms so that it has the sway bar mount, like you can see here. The stock Civic one did not have that. This is the same lower control arm as like some of the EX Civics that have the that have the rear sway bar. So I mean, it's just plug and play. And then we just use the Integra emergency brake cables into the Civic so that the emergency brake still functions as normal. or in addition to the Integra parts that I installed on this car, I also installed a set of MDU, which is Master Damper Unit coilovers. I found them used on Facebook. They ride really well. They're adjustable dampening, and they also have pillow ball upper mounts, so you don't ever have to worry about the upper mounts wearing out. Also installed a blocks camera kit on the front and the rear, so it sits really nice. It definitely could go lower, but I didn't want to roll the fenders or any of that stuff, and it makes it to where you can still get in and out of places without scrubbing, bottoming out, and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like this is a good stance for it. And then on the interior, we did, like I said, we used the Integra shift linkage, so it still has the dual bend shift lever, and also we were able to put the Integra shift knob on here. So I think that's a nice touch on here. And then we also installed the Integra front seats, right? Because the EG Civics seats had a tear in them here. It's a little worse, a good bit worse than the Integra seat. So the Integra seat's in a lot better shape. So we went ahead and put that in there. And then while we're at it, we went ahead and put the rear seats in too. And the thing about the back seats, okay, the top upper portion from a hatchback Integra, the two-door Integra, they fit in perfect. The ones from the bottom, they have a little bit of a gap if you're using the ones from the hatchback. The key to this is if you can get a bottom from an Integra sedan, it'll bolt right in to an EG hatch, no problem. So if you have a bottom from a sedan and the top from a hatchback Integra, you'll be golden. The regular old brass synchro I took out of it, it was worn out, it was sticking. And then this is the slider I took out. Focus. All right, so see these teeth are worn off of it, so it's causing it to pop out a second. So we got a new one of those, and carbon synchro.